Retchid is exactly what it looks like. This is a spiritual sequel to Doom 3, or at the very least heavily inspired by Doom 3. Hey everyone, Jarek here, and Doom 3 is a controversial game amongst Doom fans. You either love it or you hate it, or it's a good game, it's just not a good Doom game, which is something you're gonna hear a lot. Personally myself, I love Doom 3. I've always loved Doom 3. Is Doom 3 my favorite Doom game? Well, that kind of depends on my mood. I'm not always in the mood to play a game as fast as Doom Eternal. I'm more often in the mood to play something slow and atmospheric like Doom 3. I do think Eternal is by far the better game polish-wise, but usually my favorite in the moment is Doom 3. So you can imagine how happy I am to see games like Retchid pop up. I was equally as happy to see Doom 3 Phobos see the light of day. If you don't know what Phobos is, it's an insanely good Doom 3 mod. I'll put a link in the top right to my video of it. There's part 1 and 2, and part 3 is coming out soon. Who knows, it's a mod. When it comes out, I'll make a video of it, but for now, let's talk about Retchid and Doom 3. What is it about Doom 3 that's so different from the other Doom games, and why do the people that like it so much? Well, first and foremost, that era was pushing forward atmospheric, immersive first-person shooters, and they really wanted to advance tech. Hell, most PC games were still completely separate from consoles at that time, and Doom 3 was no exception. It did eventually get a very good Xbox port, but it was made for PC in mind. So what was this new tech they were pushing forward? Well, the thing most people remember is the lighting. That's oversimplifying it. A lot of tech got pushed forward that year. We had Far Cry 1, Half-Life 2, and Doom 3. But yeah, the lighting still looks good today, so that's something that you have to hyperfixate on when it comes to Doom 3. It also took far more of a horror vibe compared to the previous Doom games. You all know this. The combat is where people tend to be a little split. Doom 3 is a lot slower. It's not the fast-paced Doom game that they're expecting in their head. You can see this every time a conversation about the Doom 3 shotgun pops up. They expect it to be like Doom 1 and 2's shotgun. It's not, because you're not playing Doom 1 and 2, and then they complain that it's bad and use it wrong. Anyway, those are the three things you need to remember when it comes to Doom 3. Slower-paced combat, really good lighting, and a horror atmosphere. Let's start with that last one, a horror atmosphere. And Retchid is going for that right away. This intro is, you're going to Mars. This is Doom 3. Yeah, I mean, this intro is literally Doom 3. I mean, to be fair, it's literally any sci-fi game, but I mean, no, this looks a lot like Doom 3. Oh, my shoulder-mounted. Okay, that's just a dead person. Alright, so I thought I was going into a mining facility that was still being operable, but no, there was just this dead guy here the whole time. I didn't notice. Can't pick anything up. Okay, I got his PDA. Yes, the Doom 3 PDA. So you can click on things easier.
Please stand still for decontamination.
Yeah, this is as Doom 3 as you're getting.
All TEC employees.
Hold on, let me look at my... Okay. Oh. How did I miss this?
The TEC takes pride in its safety record.
Well...
Please follow safety procedures.
I don't think it's a good idea to hang out. Graphically, Retchid looks really good. It has the same style of lighting you saw in Doom 3, it has the same sort of environment, it even has the same ambience in the background. This feels like a real place. But where is this real place? Well, it's not on Mars. It's on Titan, one of Saturn's moons. So why are you on Titan? Well, apparently in this universe, Earth is running out of resources, and Titan has been turned into a moon to mine. Well, apparently the company doing all this mining has turned the facility into a classified research facility, storing all of its information offline on their local servers. You need to land on Titan, get that information off the servers, and bring it back to Earth. Problem is, the moment you show up, everyone is dead. Yeah, they found something on Titan, and something happened here. And again, I just have to reiterate, they absolutely nailed the atmosphere. This is exactly like Doom 3. You have metallic corridors, noises happening in the background, things randomly popping up in front of you. Supposedly, the devs have over 50 years of experience when making this game, and it does show. As for actual video settings, The options seem somewhat limited, but all the ones you would expect to have do exist. +1. Not only can you adjust the regular FOV, you can adjust your gun FOV, thank God. It drives me insane when a game's view model doesn't scale with FOV. Then the gun is just scrunched up in your face when you have a wider FOV. It just looks wrong. Well, in this case, you can adjust them separately. And I had a little bit too much fun. I love that I can change this. Wait, how high can I make this? Max FOV. How high can we get? No, it made me click out of it, damn it. Alright, we good? I thought that I was gonna be able to see into my arm. But no, you just turned into Stretch Armstrong. Anyway, all the rest of the options you'd expect to have are here, and the game runs perfect. Never had any issues. There's no motion blur setting, but there's also just no motion blur. So you're already good to go. Motion blur is bad. Don't turn it on. You remember at the beginning of Doom 3, there was all those different things to look at, like vending machines or Super Turbo Turkey Puncher.
Super Turbo Turkey Puncher 3.
Well, this game has some of that stuff in it too. And some of it makes no sense and disturbs me. Please tell me I can get a soda. Prawn! Wait, what? This isn't soda. What's wrong with these people's taste buds? Drinking beet soda? Smeg I'm leaving. The one thing I will say this game doesn't do quite well is that the environments don't feel interactive. They look nice, but it reminds me of the early 2000s where every object was like stapled to what it's sitting on top of. If there's a book on top of a table, you can't knock it over or pick it up. It's just part of that table. This definitely can break your immersion every once in a while. But for the most part, I can't complain too much. The game does look very good, especially for a small indie game. So what's the gameplay loop? Is it just Doom 3? Well, no. I should clarify, this is more inspired by Doom 3 and isn't just a Doom 3 ripoff. The game did lift some ideas directly from Doom 3. You do have a PDA, you occasionally will come across a log that will tell you a code to open a door and stuff like that. It didn't lift the idea behind the flashlight though. You have a shoulder-mounted flashlight, so it kind of lifted that from BFG Edition, I guess, if you want to stretch it like that. It's not on a recharge, it will never turn off. This game doesn't go full into horror like Doom 3 did, at least not as much as Doom 3 does. Personally, I always use the duct tape mod anyway, so I'm totally okay with this. But the actual weapons, enemies, maps, everything else is totally different. So it feels more like a Doom 3 mod being made as its own game. I guess we'll start with the weapons. The first thing you get is this pistol. Okay, it's not actually a pistol, it's apparently a taser. A taser that you can charge up and decapitate people with. In what world is that a taser? This is just an electrical gun. Oh, also, if you charge up this taser pistol, the electricity can shoot between targets and kill multiple enemies. Anyway, because it's a taser, it has limited range, but it does have unlimited ammo. The first real gun you get is an SMG. It's fairly inaccurate, but it does have a split function that's a 5-round burst that kind of helps with this problem. I don't have too much to say, it's fine, it functions like an SMG. What I will say though is that the sound effects for it are pretty weak. Next up is the shotgun. I'm not having that conversation again. The shotgun functions similarly to the Doom 3 shotgun, but it definitely does have a little more range and not as much of a spread. It's pretty darn good and has a pretty nice sound effect to it. Its split function is really interesting. It's effectively a gun-mounted flashbang that will use 2 shotgun shells at once. At first, I thought it was useless, because enemies just didn't seem to get stunned for very long. In fact, when I tried to use it, I would just die, or take a ton of damage. It was just more effective to shoot to the targets. That was until later on in the game, when I started fighting bigger and tougher enemies, and it actually became incredibly useful. So yeah, solid shotgun. The next weapon is a grenade launcher, and the best way I can describe this one is if, instead of throwing grenades in Doom 3, you had a grenade launcher that launched them, but they function the same as Doom 3 grenades. They bounce everywhere and they blow up on contact. They have a really long fuse, so they're not usually that useful. but the split function is very useful. The split function shoots mines. It's really easy to place a mine at an enemy's foot and have it blow up immediately. With the primary function, half the time I would shoot a grenade between their legs, it would keep going and they wouldn't take any damage at all. These explosions are pretty big and the mine tends to jib anything, so it's pretty effective. I'll save the rest of these weapons as a surprise if you want to play this game for yourself. So what about these enemies? Well, there's good and bad here. As you would expect, the first enemies you find are default zombies or zombies with guns, and I mean, these are pretty boring, but it starts ramping up after that. For example, you get floating squid face man that launches projectiles at you. Or you get this enemy that looks like it's more out of a mixture between a Quake game and a Silent Hill game. It has a massive sword and a grenade launcher. Okay. Oh, god damn it. You have a grenade launcher? And there are other enemies. Goodbye. Did it die? It did. What the That's your grenade launcher? Uh-oh. Oh my god. Superman, what the... You can do that? Yeah, once you get to this part of the game, this is where it's really starting to ramp up. Like the second half of Doom 3, where it almost feels like the earlier Doom games, just tons of enemies, lots of ammo. However, I do have complaints about these enemies. The AI is pretty damn bad. For starters, they don't hear anything. You can kill an enemy by shooting a gun right next to them and they won't even notice. But far more importantly, they are aimbots. They will perfectly track you through walls. They won't shoot if you're behind a wall, but they will shoot the moment you expose yourself. Sometimes it feels impossible avoiding damage. There definitely needs to be a little bit of a delay between you popping out and them shooting at you. Or at least they need to shoot as you're taking cover and then reload so you have some time to pop out and shoot them. My next complaint is kind of a compliment, but also a huge complaint at the same time. That's these map designs. The way this game functions is that it goes level by level, but each level is kind of a winding map. You will have a roadblock, you'll need to find a way to get through that roadblock, but it's not going to be a straightforward process. These maps have really interesting designs, they loop in on each other, and usually you'll have some interesting methods of fixing that roadblock. Hell, for a certain part of the game, you ride on drones. These drones are delivery services that move things from one storage unit to another. And as cool of an idea as that is, I got horribly lost more often than not. This game really needs to do a much better job telling you where to go or what you're even doing. One of the objectives even just straight up said, objective, find the yellow keycard. This isn't 1993 anymore, we moved on from that. I have no problems with keycards themselves, but if I spent the last 45 minutes scouring the map trying to find that one keycard that's blocking me from moving forward, that's a problem. And this would be far less of a problem if the game had a map. Yeah, there's no map to look at. If you get lost, you're just lost. As of right now, that is by far my biggest complaint. Something else this game did differently is it doesn't have quick saves. Instead, it has save rooms, like what you'd see in Resident Evil. I don't mind these, but there's also the occasional checkpoint, and I think there needs to be more of these. When you just spent the last hour scrummaging through the map, trying to figure out where to go, and you finally found the objective, and as soon as you do that objective, enemies pour in and you die, then you have to redo that whole last hour? That's pretty damn frustrating. After you do key objectives like this, you should get a checkpoint. And that save is saved differently from the other one, so it wouldn't cause any problems. This is a complaint I can live with, or without, honestly. It's not one of the biggest problems about this game. So while I really only have two complaints, the enemy AI being rather dumb and aimbotty, and the map just being what it is and making it really easy to get lost while not having a map to look at, those are some really big problems. Thankfully, those are problems that can be addressed. Make the AI be a little slower in shooting you, and give us a map. My main takeaway from this game is that if you like Doom 3, you absolutely should try it. Yes, I spent some time complaining, but I was incredibly happy and just having a lot of fun playing more games like Doom 3. It's currently in early access, but I streamed for 6 hours straight, and to be honest, I still haven't beaten the game. I think I played it enough to make this video, and I've definitely played it enough to give it a recommendation. Speaking of getting lost, thank you if you followed me on Twitch. As I was wandering around in this game, it was fun to talk to my chat, to keep my mind going, doing something other than looking at the same hallway I've looked at 20 million times and didn't miss the one vent that was there. Anyway, if you want to come hang out in the future, my Twitch is twitch.tv/JerrickForGamingDirect. I stream at least once a week. Have a lot of fun. And also huge thanks to my YouTube members. If you become a YouTube member, you get to see my videos as soon as I complete them. That could be a week ahead of time or a month ahead of time. And of course, a huge thanks goes to all of you for watching this video.